because fantasy doesn't last. You compromise yourself. You compromise your values. You're trying to win over the person. They become obsessed with you or you with them, and then it burns out. You think it's going to complete you, and we create it so we don't have to have real intimacy, because real intimacy is fucking scary. Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Brianne Davis-Gantt. Today I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave, or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing. Join me each week as we take a deep dive into one subject matter, exploring the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Get ready for a more focused, more revealing journey of the human experience. I am so excited for you to join the ride of this new secret life. And today we are talking about fantasy, a fantasy relationship. My all-time favorite high. I love it because here's the thing. It goes with the trauma bonding, the love bombing, the avoidance, the attachment style, love addiction, sex and love addiction, all that lovely stuff is fantasy. Living in a fantasy relationship. Let's talk about it. Disney, somebody coming to rescue, the all-important butterflies, the overwhelming feeling we get in this fantasy relationship. And it starts at the fucking beginning, and you will feel it, and you will not want it to stop, and you will want it to keep going. And this is where you have to know, is it fantasy or is it going to go into reality? So most relationships this day and age start in fantasy. So just go to dating apps. And that first thing you see of someone's profile is the best versions of them. That's the fantasy of them, because they don't put, I can be controlling, I have avoidant tendencies, I lose my job, I'm very bad at savings, my parents did not show me how to have a healthy relationship, I had sexual trauma. Like, there is not a section for all the character defects for the human, which they should have. Yes, we would all run for the hills and never get into a relationship, but that would be lovely if you said, what am I working on? Past issues I am actually working on now with a therapist. Here's my therapist. Here's how much often I go. Here's what I'm working on. I'm working on this. This is generational trauma I have to deal with. That would be lovely, because then everybody could come to the table with honesty and actually working on it. And you could be like, so you're working on this, I saw. How's that going? Oh, this. And we could actually get to the skinny. And that's not trauma bonding, because it's just knowing what you're dealing with and you're not forming a connection over that trauma. But that's not how it goes. So dating app. Fantasy based. When you are looking at a dating app, I tell people, read between the lines, see what they're not saying between those lines. And then the first date, fantasy based. If anybody tells you everything you want to hear on that first date, run for the hills. No one is that perfect. That's why when I work with clients, I say, okay, what's the green flags? What's the great things? What's the yellow things, like yellow flags that hit a little bit? And then what's the red flags? The things that glared that remind you of an ex or something that bothered you or something they said. And I actually get them to be so specific so they can start reading between the lines because that's what's important because all of us just fall into this fantasy. And then another reason, if someone is having an affair, I want to say this very clearly. An affair is fantasy based. You will literally disappear in that fantasy world. It can never turn into reality. Once you stop making the affair a secret, a lie, a second life, and you turn into the full life, that has to become a reality. So all that shit that kind of bothered you or what their partner said was annoying about them will now become your problem and will become a reality. Fantasy isn't real, and majority of us are addicted to fantasy. Disney just put it on us women that men have to rescue, that relationships have to be passionate 24/7 and communication should be easy and you should never fight. And if you do fight, it should end in passionate lovemaking. Wrong. If you are fighting and then making up passionate lovemaking, you are recreating a fantasy. That is not healthy communicating and solving because what you then will do later is create fighting then to do that lovemaking and it becomes a toxic cycle. So why I wanted to do fantasy is because a lot of people are getting sucked into the fantasy of somebody when they first date or they first meet or the affair setting. The fantasy of that is so enticing and it's supposed to be. It's intoxicating. You want to live in that world because there's no, AKA, hear it, responsibility. I don't want any responsibility. I don't want to have to hear your feelings. I don't actually want to hear that much about you unless it's love bombing because you are just a mirror for me of how I want to feel and escape. So fantasy is intoxicating. You should not feel intoxicated by your relationship. Number one, do not lose yourself in your relationship. That is a fantasy. Here's an example. Someone that got divorced started dating this man and he said his wife said, I am emotionally abusive. That's what the wife said about him. She goes, oh, his wife just didn't understand him. He's being so transparent now. Look how transparent he is and he's telling me his emotions and all that. No, he's creating a fantasy with you saying you're different, I'm sharing more, but what he's really doing is telling the truth of who he is. The last relationship didn't work out because he's emotionally abusive. People don't change that fast. Whatever broke up their relationship and now they're sharing it with you is telling you, they're forewarning you. And he's not magically becoming a new person with you and becoming this Prince Charming and saying, you can share everything with me. I'm so available. Let's just tell all the things we've been through because we're here. We're here. I'm here for you. You can't overshare enough. Fantasy based. You can overshare too much. And what he's already doing is oversharing too much. Fantasy. Don't get locked in it. Okay. This is what fantasy relationships look like. They are idealistic, unrealistic completely. If it looks too perfect, if you fly to Paris overnight and then they splurge a lot of money on you and then says they want to take care of you, fantasy based, that's not going to happen forever. They're just painting a picture of this fantasy lifestyle. Anybody can look good on vacation. Remember that. Ugh, it's always based on superficial or shallow qualities. Oh my God, you're so hot. You complete me. Oh, you make me feel like such a better man. Oh, I want to be better for you. You're my other half. I just feel like you're my soulmate. You just understand me so much better than anybody else. Superficial, all superficial, not real. You don't know them. It takes years to know somebody, so no one can complete you. That in itself is shallow and superficial. Infatuation and attraction rather than deep emotional connection. Deep emotional connection takes what? Time. time. It's the only thing. Connection takes time. Attachment is quick. Attachment is quick, and that is based on infatuation, lust, attention, a validation, and all of that. And how the chemistry does not make compatibility. Chemistry does not make compatibility. So connection takes time, consistency, slow, not quick. Okay. When you project your fantasies and desires on another person too fast, that's also a slow build. When someone says to you, oh, let's get this cabin when we're 80. Oh, let's live out this fantasy. That's another thing. Another client was dating that this guy totally was love bombing her. And he kept going in, ooh, why don't we get this cabin when we're 80? You are already feeling like my girlfriend. And I'm like, you can't be his girlfriend because you told him you're not getting serious. And he keeps pushing that. And now he's putting the fantasy and projecting his desires and sexual desires on you too fast, too soon. And yes, it's enjoyable. I'm not saying it's not. It feels good. 100%, but too fast, too soon, it burns out. Fantasies burn out. And I don't want you to be scarred and burned on the side of the road, left wondering what the fuck just happened. And then you usually turn it on yourself, going, where did I go wrong? Did I give the wrong signs? Was I not transparent? What did I do? That's what happened. So when I work with people, I'm like, see the signs, stop it from happening. Because if you don't, you will self-blame later because you knew better. You didn't stop it when it was happening. You let it burn out of control. And then you self-blame and you go, oh my God, did I move too fast? And really, they were pushing it too fast, or even you were pushing it too fast. So look at yourself if you're the one driving for fantasy. Fantasies are short-lived and fleeting. Whatever burns fast, out fast. Whatever burns fast, burns out fast. Remember that. Anything that's so intense and all-encompassing cannot stay that way. Engulfment goes away quickly. So remember, if you are feeling engulfed and overwhelmed by somebody, that's going to go away. They're going to lose interest because a healthy person doesn't lose themselves and do that to another person. Okay, here's the thing you're going to feel. If you're the one getting a fantasy-based relationship put on you, it's going to feel really one-sided. It's going to come like this unrequited love, one-sided, and it's going to feel that engulfment. And then what's usually going to happen, unless you're working with someone or you have these tools, you fall into it and get tricked. And that's the tricky part. Don't get tricked. Either go work with someone or really hear this, listen to this before you go on a date. Do not get tricked by the overwhelming feelings because those are not real. You do not know that person. Okay, they do not want to compromise. They do not want to compromise their fantasy. So even if they say, I hear you, I understand your boundaries, I see what you're talking about, they do it anyways. They keep going full steam ahead. One of my clients said, I really want to take it slow. I get into relationships too fast. I really like you, but I really want to take it slow. I don't want to be exclusive right now. I just want to get to know you and really, I think this could be great. He's like, I totally hear you. I agree. I really want to take it slow. I think you're a beautiful woman, blah, blah, blah. And then before you know it, he was calling her his girlfriend. GF said, I love you right away, was acting like they were going to live together forever, calling soulmate, writing her 5-page letters constantly, really love bombing the shit out of her. And I said, he's wanting you to live this fantasy. He's trying to enmesh and golf, and he's attaching to you way too quickly. And I'm really worried about you. And the beautiful thing is she kept calling him out on it. And then she got using her voice and him denying her voice and kept bulldozing her. She finally got fed up. She's like, you're not listening to me or respecting what I'm saying. And I've had enough. So she actually poked holes in the fantasy herself and ended it with him because she's like, he's not respecting the thing I'm saying. I'm telling him to slow down. And then he writes me a 5-page letter. And then I said, but you just said you weren't going to do that. And then he read it anyways and totally ignored what she said. And she felt it in her soul. Like he was fucking not respecting her. And she found her voice and was like, this is not what I want at all. Yes, this is enticing and he's hot and he's good in bed and he's telling me he's emotionally, overly emotionally available and all those things, but he's not respecting her request. And that's a huge deal. And in the long run, that would have been the downfall because sooner or later he would have turned that disrespect into he would it would have become grotesque to him. And then he would have flipped the script on her and she would have been left in a puddle of mud and sobbing and not knowing why down the road. So she really saved herself and I'm really proud of her. Good job if you're listening. I know you know who you are. I'm so proud of you. So then it's also, they put you on a pedestal. They want a perfect relationship. They keep projecting the perfect relationship on you. Like, oh, you're so different than my ex. Oh, this is so much better. Our connection is so real. I've never felt this before. You just do something I've never, like all those words, any of those words that are given, that's fantasy based relationship. And then when a real problem comes up, they avoid it. Even if they therapeutically use conversation words that, like, yes, let's discuss it. When you actually get to working through the problem and actually changing the problem's still there. They actually don't work through it, even if they use the words that they are. So, 10 signs you're in a fantasy relationship. You ignore red flags. You see them, but you keep ignoring them. You idolize your partner. You are more in love with the idea of having a relationship than being with this person. A lot of the times I have to go, do you even like this person? Why are you with this person? What do you like about this person? And majority of the time, they can't say anything about the person. They just like how the person makes them feel. You rely on your partner for happiness. Your partner should never be what makes you happy because when their mood switches, your happiness goes away. Happiness comes from within you, not the relationship. You have an unrealistic idea of what the future looks like. You put this future hold on the partner and all these things, and then you get disappointed in the long run. Okay, here, and you're not comfortable with difficult topics. You can't hold a difficult topic. You change the subject. You go to trying to fix it very quickly so you can go back to the fantasy world. You then also have no sense of identity. You find your identity being in a relationship. You are the fantasy monster. You are. You avoid conflict at all costs. You will do anything. You will be a yes man just to get out of conflict because you don't want the fantasy bubble burst. You feel like you're walking on eggshells sometimes to keep the fantasy going because you like how it feels. And you feel like you cannot be yourself around your partner because being yourself around your partner brings out too much reality. So you keep putting on different masks. 10 ways to deal with fantasy. Recognize that you're in this fantasy relationship. Talk to your partner about it. I think we're not completely in reality. I keep putting these ideas on you and you on me. I really want to go deeper. Be honest, be honest, be honest. Set realistic expectations. Focus on being in the present. Stay in the present and get support. Get support. That is the main thing. When people are in the fantasy monster world and they don't want to go in reality, you actually need support getting in that because you don't have the tools. If you could have done it yourself, you would have. Be open to the change, develop your own sense of identity, focus on communication using your voice. That upset me. I want to change this about us. I want to focus on getting more present in our relationship. I don't like the way we communicate our fight. I feel like we don't beat around issues, all of those things. Because fantasy doesn't last. You compromise yourself, you compromise your values, you're trying to win over the person. They become obsessed with you or you with them, and then it burns out. You think it's going to complete you, and we create it so we don't have to have real intimacy. Because real intimacy is fucking scary. But here's the deal. If you don't, you're going to go from fantasy relationship to fantasy relationship the rest of your life. And that, my friend, is painful. And the older you get, if you chase the fantasy, it gets worse and worse and worse. And the partners you pick get worse and worse. It's progressively worse. So do yourself a favor, get out of the fantasy, get into the reality, and you will meet a person that actually doesn't complete you or fix you or fill that empty void that stands next to you as a whole person. And you guys get to walk this earth together and evolve together and actually get to be two whole people that bring out the best in each other, not the fantasy of each other. There's no fucking rainbows and unicorns. Everybody's got to pay bills. Everybody takes a shit. Everybody picks up dog shit, and everybody has to have those hard conversations. That's how it goes. Thank you for listening to Secret Life Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know your thoughts and your questions or what you want me to talk about next at secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you'd like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.